Hey everybody. So I've been a bit missing, or just missing from the channel, from the stream. I had some travel plans, things that I had to do, a bit of traveling, and also just being lazy and kind of, Anyway, I'm back, more or less. So we're gonna look at this week's news. So I missed out in the last 2 weeks or so. So I missed out on Fallout 76 falling apart again. Some game announcements. Apex Legends came out. EA had some earnings calls and were, bullshitting people, but business as usual. I guess I didn't really miss a whole lot, maybe. But yeah, we'll get straight into the news here. So let me just set up our environment real quick so we don't get that infinite mirror glitch. Cool. So I've kind of tried to put a bit of structure on the news, so we're not kind of jumping around topics and things like that. So at the beginning, it's going to be like game updates and announcements and things like that. So first one is Dead Cells, which was a game of the year for me last year, has had a massive update for consoles. Pimp My Run update, as they're calling it. So a big one for Switch owners is it's 60 FPS now, so that's obviously very, very good. Stability had been an issue on Switch, so hopefully this will iron out a couple of things. But a lot of the goodies that they've added for Pimp My Run, it's been available on PC for a while because the PC still gets the early access stuff, so they get their stuff back. But enemy auto-scaling is the big one for me. It's not happening anymore, so if you're not familiar with this, Dead Cells is a roguelike, but it kind of wants you to go as fast as possible because that's where you get all the good stuff. But that means you miss out on a lot of upgrades and bonuses and weapon drops and things like that to make you more powerful for the later areas. So when you get there, you get annihilated by all those enemies. So we'll see. Hopefully this will lessen the very last level just annihilating you every time. A couple of other things, legendary drops aren't just for bosses. They've moved the time doors to in between sections rather than in the actual levels themselves. So you're not on the hunt for timed doors. You can just run through that level as fast as you want. There's lots of other updates there as well. There's the article there. Again, the link will be in the description on the YouTube archive if you want to check it out. But yeah, it's a free update. So if you have Dead Cells, and you have auto updates on, you probably have this already. But anyway. There was a Switch Direct Wednesday maybe, where lots and lots of games were announced. Fire Emblem, Three Houses, they showed off a lot of that, which looks like anime Harry Potter. So if you like that kind of thing, you might like that kind of thing as well. I don't know, Fire Emblem, I'm actually not that familiar with the series, so I have no idea if I enjoy it or not. But a lot of games were announced, and you should check that out on Nintendo's channel. I'm just going to highlight probably the three that really interest me. So we're just going to have a look at the trailer here. Turn on desktop audio. Let me know audio levels and things like that. So this is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Game originally came out in 1993 on the Game Boy. So it's like 25 years? It's been a while? It's got this really nice art style right at the beginning here. I'm gonna full screen this. Like, this looks great. And there's been a bit of drama about the actual gameplay art, so you're gonna see it in a minute here. It's like the start to Escape from Monkey Island. Anyway. It's adorable. I actually really like the simplicity. It does kind of one-to-one from the old game to this game. I know a lot of people don't like the sort of Playmobil plasticky look to it, but I dig it. Like a full like modern pixel art would have been like, beautiful as well. Since they, Octopath Traveler has kind of shown us already that can look very, very nice. But this looks good too. So yeah, Link's Awakening. Going to be out in 2019 at some point. Who knows? And we've got Astral Chain. This is a game just announced on the Switch Direct by Platinum. So have a look at some Platinum goodies. I'm liking the music, alright. Just attack them while they're doing this shit. Nice. Like, immediately when I saw this, I was like, yes, I'm playing this game. Fucking glorious.
You people are leading all of humanity straight to damnation.
Straight to damnation? You're the terrorist here!
You don't understand. My heart goes out to you two. All because of how you were born. Doomed to be used by those idiots until you die. Chained to your fate.
So it's got a bit of a weird anime story, you know. Revelatory. I mean, it's an English word, but Jesus, nobody really uses it.
Why did you make them?
I really hoped you two wouldn't get caught up in all this. Now don't go dying on me.
Sick. Oh, it's so long away. Brilliant. Platinum. So yeah, Astral Chain, holy shit. I had known like nothing about that game, and it was announced at the Switch Direct. So yeah, it's got a lot of good people on it. It's got people from Bayonetta, and it's got people from Nier Automata, and I think Keiichi Okabe music. Sure sounds like him anyway. So no, this is very much up my alley. This game, it's not actually getting a whole lot of press, which I'm somewhat annoyed about. But anyway, this is Oninaki. This is from the same team, or the same studio, rather, who made I Am Setsuna and Lost Sphere, which are two kind of modern JRPGs that I really liked. But this isn't a JRPG, so it's an action RPG. And I actually haven't seen this trailer. I saw a kind of gameplay snippet thing for it. So I'm just going to shut up and watch this, I guess.
病気だった。集まった大人たちは口々に悲しんではいけないと俺に言い、思い出話と来世の期待を口にしていた。その言葉の意味を理解したのは随分後になってから、幾ともりになってからのことだ。幾ともりは死者と生者の間を取り持つ、いわば調停者の役割を担っている。
So I think this is what they showed at the Switch Direct.
あの世を行き来し、迷いとを救済するのが幾ともりの仕事だ。悲しんではいけない。悲しみは死者をためらわせる。
So, I Am Setsuna was completely turn-based, and Lost Sphere was also still turn-based, but you could move around the environment and just place your characters wherever you wanted to. So Onanaki appears to have taken turn-based completely away, and you can just move around freely. You appear to only just be the one character, and you swap between what appear to be support members for different abilities and things like that. But I really enjoyed I Am Setsuna and Lost Sphere, so hopefully I will enjoy this one too. Even if it is aggressively not classic, traditional. Oninaki. I have no idea what that means. Oni means demon. Other than that, I have no idea. And coming to PS4 and Steam and Switch, but not Xbox. Fuck you, because nobody likes JRPGs on Xbox against. No, we don't wanna know anything about Robert Downey Jr. Anyway, so last game announcement. This is Hollow Knight, Silk Song. So on Thursday, Valentine's Day, we were kind of expecting Team Cherry to announce an expansion to Hollow Knight, which would focus on Hornet, this character here. But it turns out it's not an expansion, it's a sequel. So Hollow Knight 2, more or less, announced. Kind of a surprise announcement there, so that's nice. I actually haven't seen this trailer either, so this is pretty cool. That was a penis monster, so that's interesting. I don't think those guys were friends, those last ones. Whoop. There's definitely a lot going on in this that makes original Hollow Knight very simplistic by comparison. I actually haven't finished the original Hollow Knight, but I have reached a point where Hornet kind of shows up and you're interacting with her a lot, and I quite like that character. But yeah, there's a fairly ambitious sequel. Anyway, right, that's all the kind of good news for this week. The rest of it's going to be kind of industry news that's sort of shitty, but you know, this is the unfortunate part of business. Anyway, we're gonna get into that anyway right now. So this might seem like shitty news, but just bear with me for a minute. So Jim Ryan named new PlayStation boss to replace Andrew House. So this might seem like, you know, whatever, just transitioning periods and things like that. The reason that I'm not particularly happy about this is Jim Ryan has gone on record in the past as being against backwards compatibility, or not necessarily against it, but not seeing the benefit, not seeing, you know, the desire for it from the player base, the user base. I don't need these headphones anymore. I'm gonna turn off the desktop as well. Like he said, I'm kind of paraphrasing here because I don't remember the exact quote, but he said basically, backwards compatibility, you know, who wants that? Who wants to play old games? Only people want to play new games, right? Which is, you know, bullshit. Of course people want to play old games. I mean, Xbox's backwards compatibility is fantastic. It's one reason why I am kind of considering getting an Xbox, just because its backwards compatibility is very good. I mean, there's PC there as well for games that kind of slip through the cracks, but not every game is available there, so there's plenty of titles on PS2 that I literally just can't play because my PS2 doesn't work, and you just can't get them anywhere else, so, you know, we'll see how it goes. Yusuke Hashimoto depart Platinum Games. Again, this is just, typical industry mix-ups. People change jobs, all the time. This shouldn't be a big deal, but he is the Bayonetta guy at Platinum Games, and while Bayonetta 3 did have, well, it was mentioned at the Switch Direct, there was no gameplay, screens, anything, no assets shown, so who knows what kind of state Bayonetta 3 might be in now because of this, if he's leaving before it even comes out. So he wasn't a director or anything like that, so that's okay. He was more in like a supervisory role, but doesn't sound good. Okay, kind of stupid news here. Evo Japan pulls plug on Dead or Alive 6 stream, issues apology for sexy content, which isn't really that sexy to be fair. But you can see it here. I'm gonna leave the audio off because they're loud and screamy. But this is basically what they paused the stream for this bit. So obviously a kind of a suggestive pose here, and they paused and zoomed in. They're being kind of pervy about it, and they had kind of models on stage being titillating and things like that. So Evo basically paused the stream to basically say, this is not in keeping with our core values or some bullshit. Here, the DOA ad that aired on our stream does not reflect the core values of Evo or the FGC fighting game community. Fine, they're able to protect their own brand. The only thing I would say to this is the games themselves already have, fairly titillating content. Dead or Alive, of course, made its name on it. Now, Dead or Alive 6 is supposed to be, kind of cleaned up for esports, but, it's not. And then you have games like Soul Calibur, where the women are, very, scantily and suggestively dressed. Like Taki is more or less nude. And then there's like the violent end of things as well. These are fighting games. They are violent games. Like Mortal Kombat is a big noise in the fighting game community, and like they kill people like very gruesomely. Like there's a funny meme in one of the comments on this article, and it's the Drake meme. It's like, this is bad, boobies are bad, but fucking ripping the guy's face off to expose his like muscle and eyeballs. That's the way that's core values. They're free to protect their brand, but this is stupid messaging anyway. Sony, we are totally open for crossplay, but game developers, no, you're not. So this is Sean Layden made a comment about why more games don't have crossplay. So Sean Layden is a Sony PlayStation executive who comes on for their press conferences and announces stuff. You've seen him before. So why don't more games have it? And basically his response was, it's up to the developers to liaise with their PlayStation account representatives with Sony and blah blah blah, we'll get crossplay set up for you. And more or less the developers came right back and said, no, that didn't happen. We liaised with our PlayStation account representative, and they basically said crossplay is not happening for your game. So Sony are picking and choosing who they want to give crossplay to, and not giving it to everybody, which is what everybody wants. So this is unfortunate coming out of Sony, but not exactly atypical of Sony, particularly old Sony. They're very protectionist about their networks, about their software, so it's shitty to hear this, especially since we kind of thought the Fortnite beta might have, they might have got the message, but it doesn't look like it. Right, Activision offers refund to American Guitar Hero Live players after it removes song library. So Guitar Hero Live, I'm sure you should be familiar with the Guitar Hero series, but it's basically a rhythm game where you play guitar notes on a guitar peripheral if you want, or just with your controller. It's a rhythm action game. And Guitar Hero Live was a service where they constantly updated more music, they added more tracks, services and things like that. It's an evolving thing, but it didn't really do that great. And pretty similarly with the Rock Band version of it too. So what happened is Activision, being Activision, and they don't like to pay for licensing ever, really. So their 500 library cut to like 42 songs that I imagine probably were either Creative Commons or maybe made for the game itself, but who knows. But this is very typical of Activision. You'll a lot of times you'll see their licensed games disappear off electronic storefronts, like the Marvel games, Harry Potter games and things like that. They just disappear because they don't want to play the licensing. But yeah, so they kind of won their court class action lawsuit against Activision, I think it was last year, where the court basically said, you know, they're not in breach of service, even though they fucking are. But anyway, but they voluntarily decided that yes, if you can prove that you bought Guitar Hero Live between these dates, we will reimburse you, but only for US customers, so nothing happening for the EU. But yeah, this is kind of just a reminder of the perils of licensed games and why licensed games kind of suck, and licensed content should be bundled in there with it. But that's not the end for Activision. Activision are real shits this week, so this is kind of the biggest news, and the biggest part of why I said kind of news was going to be shitty. Activision Blizzard lays off hundreds of employees, so about 800 employees for Activision Blizzard. About 8% of its staff are gone as of Tuesday. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, staff layoffs happen. That's like not unknown. But this afternoon, the mega publisher began notifying those who were being laid off across its various organizations, including Activision, Blizzard, and King, who are the, like Candy Crush and that kind of stuff. Yes, Activision owned that too, or Activision Blizzard. This is the shitty part, okay? So Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick told investors that the company had once again achieved record results in 2018, but now we're laying off 800 people. Something doesn't add up here. Or rather, the thing that it does add up to is just greed. Claiming that they missed expectations, despite having record results. I don't know, like these two don't go together. But, you know. Anyway, a lot of the things were lost were kind of the esports end of things, because Heroes of the Storm didn't do particularly great, mostly because it just wasn't supported. They kind of half-assed their esports support. That's hard to say. So they've shrunk that team, or more or less gotten rid of that team, along with a couple of other things. Some marketing people have gone because the games are out, so they don't need them anymore. Developers of games that have already gone out don't need them anymore. Comprehensive severance package, whatever that means. You know, you still have to uproot their family and move across country to get another job somewhere else. Anyway, this is a good article, despite the news being very bad. Jason Schreier always is always on the ball for kind of industry news. You should follow him on Twitter for that kind of stuff. But following on from this, there were a lot of calls for, or rather renewed calls for, unionization. So Game Workers Unite sparks campaign to fire Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick. Hashtag fire Bobby Kotick. Yeah. Basically, where's their quote here? Upending 800 workers' lives while raking in millions in bonuses for you and your C-suite buddies isn't leadership, it's theft. You know, incendiary words, but, you know, true. So something to mention, this is kind of a leadership thing. So Satoru Iwata of Nintendo, when the Wii U didn't sell well, it missed its expectations, if you like. He voluntarily cut his own wage in half. Now, he was already making a lot of money, and cutting it in half, he was still already making a lot of money, but they didn't have to fire anybody or let anybody go, whatever euphemism you want to use. You know, he took the leadership, he was in charge, he was the captain of the ship when things didn't go well. He took the blame, he took the brunt. That's leadership. Bobby Kotick saying they didn't make expectations, but still made record sales, and rather than cut his exorbitant salary, you can look it up. I don't have the numbers, but it's, you know, 7 figures, and saying, no, I'm going to keep all that money, even though, you know, I apparently failed at my job because we didn't make expectations, but, you know, fuck you, I'm keeping my money. And, you know, I'm just going to fire people I've never met, more than likely. this is shitty practices, you know. This is just shareholder capitalism investment shit that I hate. And I know my friends hate me going on about it, but you know, I just despise the whole thing. Anyway, sorry, this is other news in that they recently hired the CTO or CFO, I think, and gave him a 15 million hiring bonus. You know, it's just like, fuck you, Activision. Anyway, this was the union thing I actually was meant to say. I forgot which one I had in the tab list. An open letter to game developers from America's largest labor organization. So this is an organization that represents 50 labor unions, you know, including the Writers Guild and like lots of other things. So they're basically saying, yeah, fucking unionize, because it's the only way to protect yourself against this. So this is a good letter. Again, oh, it's not from Jason. It is. I think Jason just tweeted it. But yeah, this is like an open letter from the Schreier, from the Secretary Treasurer, right? Basically saying, you know, what did you get for it? They got rich, they got notoriety, they got to be crowned visionaries, and you know, like a lot of the time, you only know the name of the executive. You know Bobby Kotick's name, you know Andrew Wilson's name, you know Sean Layden's name. How many developers do you know? And I don't mean directors, I mean like developers, like a senior developer. Like I know a couple of directors. I know Hideki Kamiya, I know Hideo Kojima, I know Cory Barlog, etc. But you know, how many of just the guy who invented like the inventory system, or the guy who did like Mr. X's AI in Resident Evil 2, you know? I want to know them. I don't particularly care about Bobby Kotick, but he gets the, you know, Black Ops makes billions or whatever, and it's like that's the name you hear about. Now, like fame and whatever isn't particularly important, but when you're doing most of the work and you're doing the work that everyone's raving about, we should know their name, and they should most definitely be reimbursed for it. They go on about kind of Rockstar Games and the crunch news that came out about that for Red Dead Redemption 2, pushing them into, you know, to satisfy outrageous demands from management, 725 million in the first couple of days, and you know, people got laid off because project ramped down. They need a union, is the only thing I can say about that. Anyway, that was the industry news. So some good game announcements like Link's Awakening, Hollow Knight 2, more or less, even though it doesn't have a 2 in the title, and sorry, Astral Chains, Oninaki. You know, this was like there were good things came out this week, but the whole Activision being aggressively Activision definitely put a damper on the week, and hopefully those people who were laid off, who lost their jobs, can get back on their feet quickly. There have been tweets and calls from other developers, other studios, basically saying, you know, we're hiring, we see your talent, even if, you know, your executive, your C-suite don't see your talent, we do, so, you know, come work for us. But how many times do you see that, where a studio goes under or there's mass layoffs and you see tweets from, you know, come work for us, and then the cycle, I'm doing a cycle thing, you can't see it, just repeats. So the only way to deal with this is, you know, mass bargaining. You need leverage. A single developer will just be crushed underfoot, you know, just kicked out, forced out, whatever. They make any noise, just get rid of them, hire somebody else fresh out of college, looking for their dream job. You know, they'll put up with any amount of shit just to get on developer position. I was in the same position. I'm still kind of in the same position. You know, I would put up with a lot of shit to get into like a game development position, but this shit has to change. You know, this cannot continue. Nier Automata. Anyway, that was the game news for this week, February 10th to February 16th. I know I missed a couple, but obviously I'm not going back to do that because it's old news, literally, now. Some channel news. So the Games of January 2019 video went up. Was looking at new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Vane, Onimusha Warlords, and Resident Evil 2. All games that appeared on the live stream at some point. Some of them had technical issues, admittedly, because I'm still kind of working out everything here. That is the intention for the Games of platform? No. Pipeline? I don't know. in that I will play the games in live stream on Twitch and give my kind of thoughts, and something I can write down and really think about it, what I actually think about the game, in a kind of roundup video that will be edited and hopefully of superior quality to these live streams, because I am nervous and not really sure what I'm doing and not looking at the camera all that much because I keep looking at the screen like this. Yeah, other channel news, I had planned to revive some LPs, the Tomb Raider LP, this week, but obviously I've missed a few weeks with travel and with some other work things, my day job, or my actual job, since I don't actually get paid for doing this. So yeah, the intention is still to go on with that, it's just been pushed back a bit. So hopefully Tomb Raider videos will resume probably in March, start of March, and a new LP, the Red Dead Redemption 2 LP that I've been threatening myself with, will hopefully start at some stage then too. The Games of February games will probably not be streamed, just because we're pretty far into February now and I need to actually capture proper editable footage that doesn't have my stupid face in it. So yeah, I probably won't see them, but to be fair, there weren't a lot of games for February. It was Kingdom Hearts, Metro Exodus, God Eater, and I actually haven't played any of them yet, so that's like another reason why you haven't seen any streams, because I've just been playing Resident Evil 2, and I've finished all those campaigns now, so yeah, I can get into some other games and still end up playing Resident Evil 2 anyway. Anyway, that's the stream for this week. Hopefully you found it in some way entertaining, even if it was just cringe entertainment. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you see me next week, where I will stream something. It mightn't be a game of February, but I will hopefully stream a proper game. Otherwise the news will be back on anyway.